Lifting, I like hot. For sure.
Really?
I'm trying to get the extra sweat in.
Yeah, it just feels better.
Loosen up.
But like if I'm podcasting, I guess. I don't know though, because we got to sit at this desk for 10 hours.
I keep my house cold.
I do too,
Like
except it's
68
expensive.
degrees year-round. Yeah. I got a little house though. That's not that bad.
We don't. Like, we hardly ever run anything, to be honest. Right now, we're running the air conditioner because, number one, the air is bad. Number two, it's just too fucking hot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
really hot.
My mom's house is like from 1910. It's like Adobe. You ever seen?
It's clay.
Yeah, it's literally clay. The walls are like 3 feet wide. It's fucking wild. But the air conditioner, it's like from Brave Little Toaster. Remember that show?
Dude, I haven't seen that in so long.
So I'm sitting in the couch and this thing like is screaming at you. It's like barely pushing out any air, and you like see it yelling at you because it's so old and like it doesn't work. She has a full blast, and if it gets above like 100 outside, it'll barely like it's barely alive. It's
We
like
went
rattling.
swamp cooler in my house as a kid.
Yeah.
We had the swamp
Yeah,
cooler.
but it works.
That was great. You sit right in front of it.
Yeah,
You're freezing.
yeah. Maybe we do one back here.
Maybe.
No, I think we need to do that. The Homer bucket ice
The
fan.
ice behind the
Yeah.
fans.
Yeah.
That's what Marcus said.
Just get a fan, fill an igloo full of ice, and just spin it, dude. And cut holes in the side.
You could just sit on a block of ice.
Yeah.
I was listening.
You could just put the ice in your pockets.
I was listening to a radio show here locally, and with the rolling blackouts, like 2 weeks ago or something, and we still had another hot streak. Ladies and gentlemen, it's really hot in Northern California right now. If you're somewhere else in the world,
Arizona hot, Africa hot.
and the callers were calling in like, and they're old timers, and they're complaining about the heat, and then at the end of each like little mini phone call, the host asked them like their tips and tricks for, and some old cat's like, yeah, I just freeze ice and then I just lay it underneath my blanket at night. This dude's like, you have a block of ice underneath your bed when you're sleeping. He's like, yeah. You wake up and it's just cold. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I don't think I could sleep in a puddle.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep in a puddle either.
I don't get why people stop in the desert and they're like, it's 125 degrees here, but we're just going to stop. We're going to set up camp. We're going to live here forever.
Yeah.
Like, keep moving.
That's like a quarter of our country.
That's crazy.
You go like Texas, Arizona, New Mexico's probably killing it right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to think about how hot it is anywhere but here. And
Yeah,
it's really, really bad here.
I think it's
I
fourth.
hate this.
Here's the stats of the day. The 50% not true facts. Or I think it's fourth largest number of days over 100 in Sacramento this year.
Yeah, we're getting close to that,
Yeah.
like most 100 days ever.
Yeah. 35 days so far.
Yeah.
The record's 41
Oh, see, you did your research.
in 1988. yeah.
Not
I
that
read a
nerd
tweet,
type.
I think. It was someone's tweet. They
Yeah,
posted.
maybe. I think I might have read a news tweet.
Yeah.
This is why Kyle is on the show.
Yeah, that was good. Look at you, dude.
Something like that. I don't know, dude.
I had
I'm
like,
just guessing. But
I had 2 beers last night. I feel hungover. I told Kyle driving over here, I was like, bro, this is going to be a rough podcast. My brain is not firing.
He's trying to explain something to me. He's just like, it's going to be a rough one.
I
was like, all right, man.
Get in traffic, like my thoughts get caught up in traffic.
I had the same issue this morning, not because I was hungover, but like my wife said something and I was trying to explain why what she said was not something we should do. And I just said, stop. I'll explain it later.
I don't have time.
I don't have energy.
Or the energy.
I'm beat.
No
I
brain
can't
powers?
talk. I can't talk. I don't have.
Yeah.
I can't form a sentence. Good Lord.
Want to go official intro?
Yeah.
Hit the
okay.
intro, Jim.
So there are a lot of people kind of in our lives that we have talked about on this show in the past who've never been on this show.
Yeah.
And this is one of them.
I believe I started going to Chris 3 years ago, maybe longer.
Pushing 4 now, yeah.
Yeah, because I have that mullet for 3 years almost. Yeah. And just by chance, I've gone him, and he was just always out of town a lot. And so I looked around the room, and Chris was the chair next to him, so I started going. And here's a compliment to start the whole day. I've always been, I mean, it kind of fits my nickname, but like I am kind of shy. Like even when I would get a haircut, I never, and I always went to barber shops of different styles, but I never hopped in the conversation. Much like joining this gym, this is where the nickname started, was at this gym, because I just kind of show up and I just kind of look and whatever. Chris is probably the first barber in 32 years on this planet that I actually like talk to.
Yeah.
Would like tell him some shit.
I never knew where the name came from.
Yeah.
Ever since I've met you.
Yeah, I
we've been
talk.
talking.
Yeah, but like Anthony, I would talk a little bit because of business, and with like social media stuff, and like a little bit. But any other barber I'd never like really talk to, and even here, everyone's just a little bit different. I don't know why I'm weird sometimes. If you're in my environment, I won't shut up. But
So this is our barber, Chris Long.
That's me.
And there's a number of reasons why we wanted to have you on the show.
Yeah.
But having talked about you a bunch over the years is probably
Good
one
things,
of them.
I hope.
Yeah, good things,
things.
always good things. That's the thing, always good things. You have been cutting hair for how long?
4 years, just past the 4-year
Okay.
mark, yeah.
And then you did something before that.
I used to manage restaurants.
Right.
I was
Oh,
in the
nice.
hospitality, restaurants the whole time.
But you weren't just like it wasn't a McDonald's, what I'm saying.
No. I worked for my family's pizza place growing up for like 10 plus years. And then
cool.
I branched out and I was like, you know what? I got to blaze my own trail. I'm never going to own the place.
Right.
I got to move up the ladder. And I started working for a fast casual, Freebird's World Burritos.
Yeah.
Like a Tex-Mex. There's only like 117 of them. But I did that for a long time, for like 4 years also. And then I got a job in Sacramento at the Sellens East Market Cafe.
Oh, yeah.
And I was there for like 12 days. And I was like, you know what? I just can't do it anymore. It's nothing personal. I can't work for other people anymore. So I quit my job and I went to barber school. I had a couple friends that were cutting hair. I'd always kind of cut my brother's hair and cut other friends' hair moving up and just always kept people cleaned up. And I just wanted to work for myself.
Yeah.
And I figured it was at least a shot. I was 28 years old. And it's like, if I don't try this now, I'm never going to try it.
Yeah.
So,
And then you got a job, and no offense to anyone, and then you got a boss.
and then I got a boss.
Because that's
again.
like training. I had the same thing with personal training. You're like, I'll just be a personal trainer. You work for yourself. But most of the time,
I was working under someone
you
else's
still have
umbrella.
you still have a fucking boss, and you have a little more freedom. You got to make your schedule and all that. But it is the industries that we've talked like they are kind of similar in some of the business senses. How the models are set up, like how you get a chair in there. Do you charge them a rent or do you take a percentage? Like how you get trainers in a gym is very, very similar world.
And then in California, we had this whole situation where the definition of independent contractor and employee got real weird.
Yeah, I never really got too like, this is exactly what the law says, but I knew a lot of people were freaked out about it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people who were having independent contractors not exactly perform like independent contractors, like we talked about. I still kind of had a boss.
Yeah.
I was being told when to work. I was being told like what to charge for my haircuts. And my plan was always to move out from under someone's umbrella, but that just kind of like forced me to go do it.
I think more industries than I know were affected by that.
There's it's actually even worse now than it was before.
Uber, Lyft.
I think Uber was the reason the whole thing like kind of got started,
maybe.
got brought up in the first place. There's this, I don't quote me on this, but
Yeah,
there
yeah.
was like a company that was doing like parcel delivery or like we'll hire you to deliver this, and they weren't letting people like run their own show.
Yeah.
People were
It
gonna
makes
get
sense.
sued.
And then Uber comes out, and don't quote me. I mean, the whole show is called 50% Facts, so all or nothing's fact checked here.
This is
Uber,
the 50% side over
yeah,
here.
yeah. I think Uber said something like, "We don't need our drivers. They're not. We're
We're a technology company.
Yeah, we don't need. That's why they're contractors, is because they're not essential." And I'm like, bro, if your driver of a taxi company isn't essential, I don't know what the fuck's essential anymore.
Exactly.
We're just gonna leave our cars, drive yourself around everywhere.
Well, that's what I honestly might be their big play, and it makes sense.
I use the Get In and Go down here in Sacramento, the little electric vehicles.
Oh, yeah,
Just
yeah.
pop the app up, unlock the car.
Oh,
just
how
drive
is that?
yourself
Is it
around.
pretty-
I love it.
Oh,
It's
really?
cheaper than
Oh, that's
Lyft
cool.
is.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it's
It's
cheaper.
just like a Bird or whatever, basically.
Yeah, except for you get a little electric
Yeah.
car.
Yeah,
We
Yeah,
got
I
to try
remember
that.
Yeah.
We got to try that.
It's worth it.
Yeah.
That would probably be worth a vlog.
Yeah.
There
That'd
are
be cool.
two parked right down the street right here.
Yeah, there's
There
one
were.
right by our
Oh,
house. I
really?
think, too.
Yeah,
Oh.
I don't think there should be parked over there because that's kind
Not
of a homeless
designated.
village, but yeah.
Yeah. They're going to pull that engine out.
They do well with it. Yeah. That's the crazy thing. Like down the street from us here, like 3 blocks.
Yeah.
Under
You
the
hit the freeway.
under the freeway, there is like a kind of wildcat.
Yeah, a little encampment.
Something going
happening.
on there.
That's 2
Well,
or 3
they're-
blocks anywhere in Sacramento.
No,
though,
it's true. It's true.
unfortunately.
Outskirts.
Somewhat,
But these
yeah.
guys have a
Like a whole
engine
village.
crane,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
real nice, expensive. Like
And they got a Mustang engine
yeah,
on
they're
it.
like running.
I think they got a 5.0 on it.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
like,
running
what?
They
like
don't
a-
have one of the gig cars set up to start converting power for them and all that.
Yeah, they're going
Something,
up- they're
dude.
going
Yeah,
nuts.
there's a badass mechanic over there doing that.
He's got on a Harley and
he's
shit.
got an F-350 and like a brand new Harley. I'm like, what the hell's going on over here?
I don't know.
I'm about to send my car over there. Get it fixed.
Get an oil
Yeah,
change. Just drop her down.
He'd probably do it for free, dude. He don't care.
I totally don't understand what's going on. to be
I don't
honest
either.
with you.
I don't either.
Oh yeah,
Everybody's
no, I'm
blowing
lost.
that EDD money in California. Is what
Dude,
it is.
maybe
Everyone's
so.
getting a lot of money
Yeah,
right
maybe
now.
That's so true.
So-
The other industry, which I was talking about last night, shout out to our boy Dan. He started a security company,
Right.
and that's very similar too. Is all those guys are employees, which I didn't know.
Oh, their employees.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I can. I was like, oh shit, I didn't know that either.
Yeah,
and that changes the whole scope. I mean, that's a lot of industries being touched. I haven't heard about personal training, but you'd imagine it'd be very similar. Good thing we got no personal trainers here, so it doesn't matter. But
yeah, and the way around it is you have 10% or more than 10% ownership, and there's a whole lot.
in the company.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. See, there's always loopholes, and I get that this stuff's beyond my knowledge, so there's probably a positive reason, I would hope, at the end of the tunnel why they make all these changes, but it really does just throw ripples at the world. And I understand more now, even though I understood pretty well because I paid a lot of fucking taxes over the last couple of years being an entrepreneur. I do understand why people complain about California opening businesses being difficult, because they really don't make it easy. One, it's expensive. Two, the taxing sucks. And three, they just don't. I don't need you to open the door and lay out the red carpet, but just leave it unlocked.
A little bit of help would be nice.
Yeah, leave the door unlocked so we kind of know what to do. Yeah. They don't even give you answers.
I would say, like, I was filling out the state tax licensing thing the other night for us, and I was trying to figure out, like, because I mean, there's no sales tax on memberships.
Okay.
But there's sales tax on the retail side and on online sales if people live in California. And so you have to have a state tax license. And the crazy thing about the city of Sacramento is there's no actual business licensing here. It's just business tax licensing. So you have to sign up for that. And they track that, believe it or not, but they don't care about the rest of it, which is really crazy.
Yeah, does other cities like LA or something?
Yeah, different. Well, actually, if you live in the county, the unincorporated part of Sacramento, they have legitimate business licensing, but the city of Sacramento does not.
Interesting.
It's crazy. And when I went through this before, and I actually acted as though I was in the county and did everything way too on the up and up, which I'm not going to do this time. I'm following the letter of the law, but
you
I'm
don't
not
get in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's what I wonder, because they make it so difficult. Like, how many of these companies are purposely or non-purposely, not checking all the boxes, because you just don't fucking know what you got to do.
Well, that's the problem. I was trying to figure out how do you describe this business in the terms that they give you. You have to put a commerce code in there. It's well, what the fuck is this?
I feel like most of us who kind of start small businesses from the ground up, we're just kind of making it up as we go. And so, I'll ask for forgiveness before I ask for permission. I'm oh, I didn't even know that, man. My bad.
Which hopefully they're kind of forgiving. You know what I mean? You would hope.
Worst case, and I try to settle my nerves that way too. Worst case, it's going to be a fee. They're not going to come arrest you. Worst case, you're going to get a fee or a slap on the wrist, which does suck. But
I don't think you go to jail for taxes until you evading Wesley Snipes style tax money.
We've also,
which I would love to be there, but
I wish I had that much money to hide. Yeah.
We've also seen IRS has been slowly defunded over the years, and so they don't have the manpower to do.
And they're probably not even allowed to go to work right now.
The auditing that they used to do. I don't know about State Franchise Tax Board, but it's probably true too. They probably haven't been to their office.
I don't know. They fucked me pretty good last couple of years. Something happened similar to this. Is they won't send you when to renew.
Oh yeah,
an LLC.
LLC. Yeah.
And so I paid one, but I didn't pay another. And then they send it, and it's shows the same price. I don't know. It got real fucking confusing. And basically, then I have 6 different fees in front of me. All the numbers are different. And so I was well, if I pay all these, we're talking $10,000. I'm not gonna do that. So I paid a couple of them, and then the one I didn't pay rolled over, and then I was fucked. But why wouldn't they just send you a little alert?
Yeah, this is why we have an accountant on tap. We haven't started using him yet, but we're almost there. We haven't made $1 yet. So actually, no, we made $20.
Not much accounting
week.
To do.
Yeah,
made. We took in. We had $20 in revenue last week.
Nice.
That's hey.
But yeah,
dinner's all made.
Come on now.
That would not do a trip to Chipotle for this crew. But I had a hell of a time figuring out what code to put down. I finally had to fucking Google it to get even into the zone of what I was supposed to use, and I ended up using
Have you gotten into the city hall building? Started filling out the actual hard paperwork for that stuff?
No,
I did that back in the day.
No,
so that comes too.
You can't do it anymore.
Oh wow!
You can't even go in. There is no.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's there.
It all is online now.
Yeah,
and so I did all that.
I did that back in the day with the first gym I opened, 2010, and I don't know if it was City Hall, but it was some business It might have been the tax franchise board, but you're in there, and then same thing. Like, I don't want to talk shit on the world because I do like our state a lot, but like everyone's just such a bitch in there. You're just asking a simple question like, "Hey man, which one I got to fill out?" Like, I'm trying to open a gym over here, and like Carmichael, what do I do? And they're like, I don't know, and they just like throw
This form of that window.
Yeah, when they're just grumpy, and then they don't give you real info, and they're like, "Well, I don't know what any of these questions mean, ma'am. What am I supposed to do? I'm a 21-year-old idiot. Help me."
You know, like the other day when we went to pick up those desks, we bought those desks from the 24-hour that went out in Carmichael. And we go to pick them up, and like, you know, I'm a guy of a certain age, okay? I mean, I'm not a kid, right? And this woman who's probably in my age zone, but not aging as well. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Get him, Jim. Eat him up.
She's like, yeah. I said,
She was hideous.
I said, yeah, like, we're here to. Well, she was, but anyway. I said we're here to pick up, 4 desks and 4 chairs, and she's like, oh, didn't they tell you what you're picking up? I'm like, I bought them, bitch. Like, what the hell? I hate to call women bitches, but I would probably said that about a dude too. It's like, what the fuck? Like, where's your attitude coming from? I realized that you've been doing this for 3 days and you've been dealing with a lot of stupid questions and one thing or another. But what triggered you to be a bitch to me?
Yeah,
she's sitting there in air
Maybe
conditioned
she was
room.
jealous because you're aging so well.
That's true. True.
She just sat there and directed in an air conditioned room on a nice
she had
chair.
almost nothing to do.
Yeah, she was doing nothing. Yeah, when I went up to her, I was really stern with her, and this is a psychological thing. But it's like the more
mind games with old ladies now.
the more disagreeable you are, the more likely they're going to give you anything.
Kyle
I walked
literally
up
said
and
that in the
I
car.
said, "She's like, oh, you guys got everything?" I was like, "No, we're grabbing more actually." She, oh, she like backed off. It's like, hey man, you gotta be. She's a blue collar woman.
Yeah, that's what Kyle said. In the
Okay.
car. He's like, I know how to handle blue collar. So let me get her.
I didn't know that Kyle was our neuro-linguistic pro.
No, yeah, he's good.
I got her.
Yeah. He's gonna manipulate the shit out of every member here. That's why he's involved.
You can take a little bit more of this cord if you want.
Thank you.
There you go.
Let's do that.
I
There
feel
we
you
go.
just like leaning and.
That's okay.
With opening an actual barber shop, I feel like and you might have some history in you. Barbering must be like one of the oldest traditions and jobs ever.
One of
right?
the oldest professions, period.
Yeah. So
It goes all the way back to like tribal times and like communal grooming standards.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's where it started.
What you would think then, opening a business would be easy and streamlined because it's been around, but it's probably similar headaches than we had.
There's definitely a lot to wrap my head around. Like I said, this was my first business.
Yeah.
All the other times it was somebody else handling it or like corporate handling it. So barbering state board made it generally easy. They give you a big checklist of all the standards you have to have.
That's
like
cool.
in terms of like health and sanitation and safety and like that. But in terms of how I wanted to like run the business, I started it so small I didn't have any of those problems.
Yeah.
It was just me and my buddy renting a studio and working for ourselves.
Sure.
It wasn't until Mason left to Texas and I decided to bring on other contractors that I had to like, okay, how do I actually form this so that I can make money
And not fuck
and not screw
taxes
myself
or the
yeah.
other people.
or the other people. Yeah.
Yeah. And
You just flipped the switch too, though, on that. Like all you guys just like kind of quit when you found out you had to be.
Well, forced out would probably be a better
That'd be
term.
another
But,
word.
it was either go somewhere else or stay on as an employee.
Yeah.
And that was the whole reason I got into barbering. I don't want to work for other people.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the mid haircut and like, hey, Chris, you got to take your lunch break.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's not going to work for me. So I was already working on it, but once we had that deadline of if you're not like this is the day we're switching over, it just forced me to make that jump even earlier.
Yeah.
I had to accelerate getting the shop ready.
But it cleaned the place out. Like there was nobody there left, right?
Every barber on staff left.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, as a barber, if you're working as an employee, it's a great place to start fresh out of school.
Sure.
You don't have any clientele. Like you work for a big name barbershop that's going to bring people in naturally. It's a great place to start. But I already had a clientele.
Yeah.
I was confident in myself. I was already working on my shop. And so I was like, I'm just going to go now. Now I have no choice.
How was that switch too? Because again, that's very similar to something we do in our world. Like I started Twitch, but I have this Instagram following. Now, how do these people even like me enough to now follow me over here? For you, similar thing. Did you have like some worries? Like, fuck, man, they come here for the shop and the drink, or they really do like me and they're gonna travel over here?
I was definitely worried. I'd only been doing it for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So I remember nights waking up cold sweat, stress, not eating for days. Like, I was worried. I was nervous. Was this going to happen? I was dumping every penny I had into this place. I'm sure you've been in similar situations. So Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but that's where that self-confidence comes in, and then hopefully they like me. If not, I'll make new clients.
Yeah, and our good buddy Dean, who we talked to last week on the show, he said, and that's kind of the distinguisher of humans. Like some of these people are going to do that and see the kind of lie in fear and still keep walking
and walk through it, right?
Yeah, and some people are just kind of like, I'll go back. And it's not right or wrong. It doesn't judge you as a human. It doesn't mean you're a pussy. I forgot who I was talking to. But I was talking to a friend, and we're going over kind of the pros and cons of working for yourself. And I was like, well, it must be so cool. You got no boss. You set your own hours. You decide your paycheck. I said, yes, that's cool. But I would also like benefits that I don't have to pay out of pocket.
Yeah.
I would love a vacation that I get paid for. I can't take a vacation, let alone get paid for
Opportunity
it.
cost when you work for yourself.
Yeah.
There's just so many things. And our lives, maybe because it is cool in our culture to be a business owner and do your own thing, and that kind of holds a prestige or like an honor about it. And I do agree, because it's hard, and once you've done it, you understand why those people kind of like, oh damn. Even still to this day, somebody walked by me and Kyle, were just sitting on our patio, like, yeah, we own this boutique down there. For some reason, I think that's fucking badass. So it's like, oh, that's sick. Like, that's a business owner for some reason. And having like a normal 9 to 5 now is kind of frowned upon, and maybe it's our generation that's causing it, but there's a lot of fucking benefits. There's a lot of benefits to having security of paycheck.
Yeah.
Like, I couldn't get any
safety net.
unemployment and shit going on during this time. Like, there's nobody taking care of us, but if you ever worked for the state, you're handled.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for sure. I don't know, for me personally, like when I left a corporate job, I couldn't figure out how to go back, as much as I really, in some ways, would have liked to, just because of all the security part of it. But I never had any security in a corporate job. Never, not one time. There was always a fear of layoffs.
Just a number.
Yeah.
It
You're a
just
number in the system.
no matter how much you integrate yourself into it, and feel like you're fairly essential, they will ultimately not see you that way if they think they're paying you more than they could pay somebody
Well,
else.
you reach
to
that
do.
ceiling. You're like, hey, I want more to do this job. And they're like, well, I got somebody right behind you that'll take less to do it. So sorry.
Elon just sent me a robot that could do your job.
Or even worse, and I think and more common, is they don't have any fucking clue.
Right.
Like I survived.
So detached.
Yeah, I survived a number of layoffs in different jobs, and they would have no plan for where the work was going to go, like who was going to do it.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is just not going to happen. It's like, well, actually, this stuff is kind of required. Like, these are things that are state requirements, or they're federal requirements, or they're contractual requirements with clients, customers, whatever. And it's just like, there's nobody to do it.
Yeah.
Well, just so learn to do this. Like, well, this is not my background, folks.
Right.
Like, I don't know anything about this at all. Why am I the person? Because you're here.
Yeah.
These are your responsibilities now.
Yeah.
Did the food industry feel that way? And you kind of worked in a similar job, Kyle, where you worked at like a supplement shop and you were running like with a boss. Like that stuff's like corporate, but not corporate, I feel like. Like it's still, because it's small business, maybe those are the definitions. You work for like corporation, you're literally a number. And then you work for like a smaller business, like maybe the family restaurant, obviously, because it's family.
That was family. Yeah. You did it because you were,
Yeah, and they're not going to just totally rip you off and fire you unless you totally ruin the business.
Exactly. I did so many things at that restaurant, my family restaurant, that I would have got fired instantly for in the corporate spot.
Yeah, or even like small business, like those guys had to care a little bit, you'd think.
Yeah, I think so. Because they require more of a, I guess, like a relationship between clients too, though.
Yeah.
Versus like a corporation, which they do obviously if they're a corporation. But yeah, if you're going like small business, it's customer service relationships are much more important. So they're like, okay, this person's been helping these people for so many odd years. I mean, you're no longer just cutting them because of their work they're doing, but it's like the relationships they built. And then they know they can take those people away.
True.
Yeah.
Like
someone comes
Chris,
into the nutrition shop. I'm like, oh, what happened to Kyle? He's not here anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
Then I get a text and I'm
back
like,
in there anymore.
Then I get a text and I'm like, hey man, like that was all bullshit. Like just coming out over here.
Right.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah, I don't know. Because I've never, it's the same conversation I was having with a friend. I was like, I've never really had like a job where I felt that way. Like I was a trainer at a commercial gym and I sold gym memberships, but I never did like the corporate thing or like the retail thing, or I don't know. I don't know if I'd last. I don't know if I'm cut out.
I would say it's a little different too, like performance-based jobs too, versus like, okay, did you do this job versus like, hey man, we expect this from you, versus like, hey, I just got to hit this button every day kind of thing. Where it's like, that's what like baseball and like, I mean, I'm sure even barbershop, like, hey man, you're not cutting this dude's hair right. Like he's not going to come back. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of like that.
That's true.
That's how baseball was, man. It's like, I remember our pitching coordinator, I'll never forget. He'll say, when you get released, or because everyone will, he was like, when you're done, He's like, well, I'm going to bleed with you, but I'm not going to cry for you, man. I'm not going to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel it.
That's how it goes.
That's just the way it is, man. Like, you know what I mean? So,
and that's kind of cool with barbering. And I think a lot of stuff like you were talking about the customer service world is like your fate is kind of in your hands.
Yeah.
There's chance.
Well,
there's always chance.
That's working for yourself, period, right?
Yeah. A lot of times, sometimes there is like randomness, but a lot of it more, you're right. And I like that because I don't know, dude. I'm so jaded in life sometimes where I'm like, because some places you can be the hardest worker and you still fail.
Well, that's why I didn't like the corporate world because no matter how much harder you worked or how much you slacked off, as long as you stayed in that safe zone, you had your job.
Yeah.
And
people just kick it on that lower end of the safe zone.
Yeah. And that wasn't me. And I wanted to keep moving up. And another thing I hate about working for other people is being smarter than the person that's telling me what to do really frustrates me.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't handle that very well.
Yeah, that's something I've said for a long time. I even was talking to Kyle's dad, who's a military guy, and I was just like, man, I don't think I could do that stuff. And he was actually relating to me, although he was in that world. And even in sports, I think that's where it started. Like my basketball career, I was like, yeah, man, like I just can't do stuff if you can't tell me why I'm doing this.
Yeah.
Like I'm not just gonna go do 10 burpees if I think there's a better way I can condition myself. Like this is pointless. Or I'm not gonna go carry this log. Marcus was talking about it last night. Our buddy who does construction, he's like, yeah, sometimes they'll just have me move like piles like 15 feet over here because then the next day we're putting it in a truck. He's like, I'd rather just move that into the truck today. Like, what are we fucking doing? He's like, but they got to keep me on the clock and they have to. I was like, I understand. I could never do that. I'd punch somebody.
It's that creative problem solving. It's like, hey, if I find an easier way to do this, why can't I do it? Well, that's just how we do it here.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
No, I can't just do it.
Yeah,
because I said so. Even though my dad gave me a lot of those, like, well, like, all right, that's my dad. That's about it.
The creative process.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
It's the ego of the commanding person. You know what I mean? That's what it is usually. Like, well, no, you're not doing it that way.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, and
maybe
this is
I am.
What Chris said, if he maybe he doesn't care as much, that's another issue. If I'm smarter than my boss, or my boss doesn't care as much as me, like that's just a recipe for disaster.
Yeah,
and that's choosing leaders. That's something people don't probably talk a lot about. Is like there's a lot of books and self-help and coaches on like how to lead, right? To be a basketball coach or captain or a business owner. But there's not a lot of people, and not everyone's made to lead. That's for sure, just a thing. Yeah. But then they don't really talk about like how to choose a leader either. Mm-hmm. You know, with like this, we have these human tribal mentalities where we want to get in a group, and people want. I want a leader. I want to turn on Instagram and be inspired by somebody. Like, oh shit, that's everybody wants to be inspired and motivated. But if you choose the wrong leader, now you're just following a dumb shit. Now you are like this whole. Everyone overuses the word, but like a little sheeple. Mm-hmm. Now you are a little sheeple if you're following an idiot.
Yeah. Right. Now everyone's a leader, quote unquote.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you're an idiot's following an idiot, you both suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's true. That actually gets us into to another topic that we were thinking about in terms of having you on the show. Two things at the same time in my mind. Okay, so you had a significant weight loss. Mm-hmm. You lost
from my biggest. I was probably 415, 417.
Oh, no way.
You're what, 6'1", 6 foot? To
I'm about 6'1", yeah. Last summer I got down to 203, so over 200.
Yeah, that's insane. Actually,
that's insane.
When I say it out loud, it sounds
no,
like
it sounds like a lot. Yeah, you lost half your body weight.
Half of me,
and you've kept it off.
Yeah, it's been. Let's see. I started losing my weight when I was like 24, and since then it took about 2 years to get down to like the low 220s, and I've fluctuated back up to 280. A couple years ago, you guys saw me at the barbershop. I was bigger again, and I decided like I worked way too hard for this last time. I'm not going to let this happen again. I got back down, so I've kept it off for about 6-7 years now.
And the crazy thing is like we see your Instagram, so we know what you look like without your shirt, and you look like model good.
Oh,
like,
wow, thanks.
Yeah, and so like
my body dysmorphia. Otherwise, but I appreciate that.
let me just flip that switch for you.
Yeah, it is insane because everyone loses weight. In our world, we hear this all the time. Big weight loss, little weight loss, but keeping it off. I don't know the numbers. I wish I did, and I probably should, considering it's my job. But the percentage of people that gain it back within a year probably would be my guess. Is like a year or 2 years, people are right back. Or the data does show people gain more because they deprive themselves and all these things. And
you run their metabolism
or you run yourself into the ground, and you're like, well, I'm never going to work out again. I fucking hate running. I'm not going to take another step.
Injury and you get set back big time.
100%. Yeah, or you just been eating fucking white rice and bland chicken all the time. You're like, well, now I'm just gonna eat pizza for 3 years straight.
Yeah.
So you did that, and you keep doing that, and you're one of the people that I know who takes inspiration from, self-improvement whatever, and you actually like stick to it, which
Right?
is not what most people do.
Man,
most people buy the whole commitment to it ends when they buy the book or they read the
That's
article
me.
or whatever. Yeah.
you always see these people and they're like, okay, you talk the talk a lot.
Right.
But very rarely do you see people like, okay, you not only talk like that, you actually live that life.
Yeah.
And I wanted to hold myself to that standard. I don't want to just be just spouting off inspiration and then like when nobody's looking, slacking off.
Right.
So that's just kind of how I hold myself in check. That's my standard that I set for myself. I'm going to be the best version of myself. And I wasn't always like that. Like when I first started losing weight, it was strictly aesthetic. I just wanted to look better. And I didn't do all that work on the inside, the mental stuff. I didn't start getting into the mental like fortitude until recently, the last few years, really holding myself accountable. And yeah, it's tiring, but I enjoy it.
And even your process, I've found, is kind of what you just said. Like a lot of people give the lip service to it, and it's something I've never like stamped on because it's not how my brain or procedures work. But the little things you've told me, like because when things are normal, I'd get a haircut every 6 weeks or something, and then probably every other haircut, you would tell me like your goals, and they'd be like direct, and then you'd be doing like, all right, like I think a simple one, you're like, yeah, this like quarter, I think I'm just going to work out for sure twice a week outside.
Yeah.
I'm going to do whatever I'm going to do normally, but I'm going to go. And then the next one, you're like, I think I'm just going to run 5 days a week. I can still lift and I might do these things, but I'm going to run 5 days a week for sure. And you have these goals and you have these check boxes and you work and you check them off.
That's something I found that works for me because I've been like, this is a long process for me. So I've been able to fine tune it. Like if I just did 7 days in the gym, bodybuilder, hour of cardio, I lose my motivation.
Yeah.
So I got to keep it fresh. I got to come up with new stuff. I like trying, whole new workout regimens. I've gone from just full blown bodybuilder, workout. I've done body weight for a year straight. I ran like 2 miles a day for 70 straight days earlier this year. Like I like to challenge myself because it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, and that's probably what makes us not as cool or popular in like the powerlifting.
I'm
or
looking
our
forward
world.
to this place. I've never done like the powerlifting regime, so I'm looking forward for this place opening up and coming in and be able to learn that stuff from you guys.
Yeah, and
that's
that's
never incorporated before.
That's like what we do, and it's just like the type of exercise I enjoy. But what we preach is like in diet too. Like the first advice I ever give somebody is like start to kind of track your food, figure out what the hell is going in your body, and find any activity that you enjoy. And start to do that. I don't give a fuck if you do yoga. I don't give a fuck if you do Pilates. I'm not going to join you, but go ahead and do that.
Whatever gets you out of bed and gets that first step.
That's
to
literally
the gym,
it. That's literally it.
And if what you're trying to do isn't getting you motivated, and find something else.
Yeah, and if your ADHD makes you do it every 6 weeks to change it, fucking who cares? As long as you're a little bit healthier. And just for my personality, I need to hone a craft, and so powerlifting was my craft, and that's what we honed in on. But many people are different, and that's hopefully the space we build here is a little bit multifunctional for multiple types of people, but that personality is so different. Even our buddy Simon we were talking to, not to put him on blast, poor Simon, but Simon is one of our old YouTube buddies, and we play a lot of video games with him. And he hit me up, and his job's pretty affected by COVID, and he used to be a social worker, and he just doesn't know. He's a really smart dude, and now he's doing marketing, which he's really good at. But he hit me up, he's like, Mikey, like, I've been making these lists daily, and I've been checking off my goals. I feel so goddamn good. And I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, I don't do that. I hate that. But a lot of people really like that. And it is funny because that's like the first thing I don't want to, Tony Robbins or whoever tells you to do. And I don't know how many people apply it. I've tried it for sure. That's the same thing
Kyle can weigh on the psychological aspects of checking a list off.
God, yeah, dude.
It's huge, right? That first thing you do, if you make a list, first thing, make your bed.
Yeah.
Check that list off.
Yeah, little wins.
Day, little wins.
Yeah, my mom yells at me all the time, like, well, what if you make a list? I was like, Mom, if I make a list, the issue with me, because I am probably neurotic on many levels, if I make a list, I'm going to be on this list all day. Like, I wouldn't be able to have lunch without, like, fuck, dude, this list.
Not until I'm done, then I'll do everything else.
Yeah, I won't
Just
eat.
Put lunch on the list.
Yeah, see, I would have to.
Yeah.
I probably would have to, or like stop looking at your phone. Okay, check 3, stop looking at my phone. Like, that's how I would probably have to work. And so you do have to find a flow, and like you even said, refine how your process is. And I think it does help. You were referring to Kyle jokingly, but being an athlete helps because you find your process. If you can find your process how to perform in a good game, if you can find your process how to perform in a good practice, if you find your process how to be a leader on a sports team, if you allow yourself to then let that bleed into other things, you already have the framework. And that's what's worked for me. I had the framework of basketball. I had the framework of being a captain. And I'm like, all right, well, how do I do these same things that get my shooting guard to trust me and my coach to trust me? And now I'll just do it in business. Yeah. And now I'll just do it in friendship. And now I'll just do it over here.
Yeah.
That's all I got. that was all my energy
that's
from
it.
2 beers last
That's
night.
it. Yeah, like actually we've joked about it over the last couple weeks here because people said, oh, how's your punch list, or are you running a punch list or whatever. I mean, we have would theoretically have a list for this building. We would have a list for online sales. We would have a list for the retail stuff here. We would have a list for just running the business, period.
Right.
There's a list for marketing. There's a list for like just like the actual mechanics of marketing.
Yeah,
There's,
retail
like,
love in here, food, drink, clothes.
So like
already
when we started just the building, like we had a short list that didn't have everything on it,
Right.
and it was intimidating.
Yeah.
And like we could probably, in a week or so, we could probably run an actual punch list of things that we check off, because there's still so much to do at this point, and it wouldn't be overwhelming. But damn, if we started this project trying to really think about everything that needs to be done, we might not have gotten started. I might not have signed the
intimidating.
paperwork.
Yeah. I think there's about 3 days we didn't get started.
Yeah.
We got the keys and we just sat in here and we're kind of looking around.
Going, oh, fuck.
Yeah,
Where do you start? Right?
Yeah,
I've
it
never
was
done
so dirty.
construction before. I don't even
Yeah,
know where
yeah.
to
Jim's
start.
really handy, but I've never refurbed shit.
Me either.
Yeah, yeah. And your building was very
We
similar.
did a
You made your whole
yeah,
building.
We did a whole, everything from the ground up. We put new floor, new drywall, new lights, everything. I don't know how any of that stuff works.
Yeah. But you
Just kind
Google,
of
you
YouTube it,
and-
man. Yeah, you just kind of figure it out. I think back to the list thing, I think it's really important, obviously for health reasons too, like to do physical activity and stuff like that. But I think getting involved with things that are more competitive too, whether it's with yourself, like let's say you go to the driving range every day and you're still shanking the ball every single time. It's like you're going to make a mental list in your head at that point. You're not going to maybe write down like, hey man, like you're opening your club face or whatever. It's going to force you to make a list and be like, I'm going to get better. Like I think it's wired into us like to be competitive.
Yeah.
So I think doing those things is like going to eventually make you either write down what the hell you're doing wrong or mentally be like, okay, well, I'm making a list in my head right now. Like, okay, elbow this, blah, 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 whatever it is. Like I tell people to go play competitive stuff all the time. I'm like, you kind of have to.
Yeah, and that is, we talked about it on our last podcast, but like where CrossFit crushed the world is they started making like a community, which all humans want. They all want friendship. They all want someone to hold them accountable. They want to see their buddies. And then they gamified fitness. And so every workout you get a score, you get a time, you get a whatever. And so then you do it in 3 more weeks, you try to improve. And that's where powerlifting, despite it being like literally the opposite of basketball in so many senses, it's so monotonous, it's so basic. And now you have to pay attention to the minutia and the repetitive. It does become like Zen meditation. Like I'm doing the same stupid lift for over a decade now, trying to get better at it. You know, like it's the dumbest thing really when you think about it. But for me, it adds something to, you said like, oh, my ankle is just a bit turned out here or a little. Yeah. But I do wonder, and all of us are like competitive-ish people, and we let that bleed however we want, business and content creating and sports and whatever. I do wonder if there's a human out there, and I feel like there is, and again, this may be me being jaded, but I feel like there's a human out there that just doesn't click with them. They literally don't mind clocking in, clocking out, going home, grabbing a beer, sitting on a couch, and they're totally fulfilled.
Right?
And I it sounds bad, but I do just think, I always just claim like, nah, they're dumb. Like, because I think if you're so intellectual, or if you're at least self-aware, you can't. If you're self-aware, you won't allow yourself to do the same shit or be the same person. That's like literally the definition of self-awareness. You'll go insane if you're literally looking inside of yourself. Truly, no one, unless you're narcissistic, because then you don't see a flaw.
Right.
But any normal human will look inside themselves, see something, and if you do nothing about that, you'll go insane.
You just give up.
You would go insane, yeah. In whatever sense that might be.
Bro. That's why you see people go AWOL, man. They just disappear from things.
Yeah.
All
That's what I was going to
Draw
say.
from society, pull themselves away.
Yeah, you were being all positive. I didn't want to interrupt. You're like, I'm going to fix this and I'm going to be better. And I was like, or people quit.
Or you just,
people
it's
just
kind
quit.
of like a long-term fight or flight situation.
It is. It's elongated. It's a diluted fight or flight. Like, I'm just bad at golf. Fuck golf.
Yeah.
I'll go watch it on TV.
I remember having those kind of conversations with myself when I was overweight. Like back when I was fat, when I had just given up, I just told myself, you know what? I'm just going to be the funny fat guy the rest of my life.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm just, I'll probably die when I'm 50. It's too late for me now.
Yeah.
You have those moments. It happens.
Yeah. That's a dark side of it. You know what I mean? It is. Especially when you're waking up the next morning like, oh, I'm supposed to do a 3-mile run and this and that. You're like, no, fuck that, man. I'm going to eat and I'm going to chill here. I'm not going to do shit. Yeah,
it is easier.
Yeah. Way easier. Yeah, way easier. Easy's clock in, clock out. That's what easy is, generally.
I'm about to choose easy soon, boys. if this door don't open.
I was thinking about it. I was like, man, it'd be real nice just to go work at somebody else's barbershop and not have to worry about anything. Just no responsibilities.
No paperworks.
Right.
For me right now, it would be awesome to do nothing for a fucking day.
Right.
Not a single goddamn thing. And we're not in that position right now. No. I mean, we're really not. We've taken a couple days off along the way. It hasn't been a straight slog, but I don't know. I'm supposed to be off. Everybody's off, and then I like come in here and tinker with shit. Yeah. Try to figure out how to solve this thing that's been bothering me since fucking 2008.
That's the competitive side of you, though. You know what I mean? Well, that is a little bit.
I mean, to a certain extent, it is, and
competitive with yourself.
Yeah. I get satisfaction from actually feeling like I got something right. Mm-hmm. I think that's maybe it. I'm not competitive with other people as a primary motivator. It's trying to do things as the best way possible. At least starting out with that mindset, it doesn't always end up there. And then this, from a secondary standpoint, obviously you want to do better. Even if you think of your competitors as your friends, you still want to do better. Even if it makes them bring their game up too. I mean, that's
another big thing with the competitiveness that comes from growing up playing sports the whole time, like wanting to do better, was the camaraderie that came with it too. Yeah, you always had those friends that were like, hey, you can do better, like you can get better at this, we can do this together. And that helped me a lot as a youth, kind of like stay motivated and stuff like that. I feel like we lose that as adults, like 100%. once you stop playing sports, like once you lose that locker room feel, that clubhouse feel, and that goes missing. And there's not a lot in our community to like give that back to guys.
100%. And that's literally our goal. Thanks for pitching the gym, Chris.
Oh, hey.
That is literally our goal, because I feel the same way. And then there, you have friends that you come across. Maybe you like them a lot, but even some of my people I cross in paths with in life that I really enjoy their company, or we get along, or we have mutual friends, or we have mutual interests. If they never played sports, there's like a vibe sometimes, or like you can just tell. And like the only other time I had it was our powerlifting team here. That was, as an adult, I could feel it. Sometimes businesses, but sadly a lot of my businesses are online and my business partners aren't here. Like when my business partners are in town, like Omar and these guys, then I feel it again. But it's hard to feel it on a Zoom call or like a text when you're doing business. But to do something in person, probably opening the shop with your buddy was a bit similar. But then let alone lifting. And there is something, I think we talked about it too with Danny and them, where it's like, whether it's hormonal, adrenaline, you feel connected to humans when all your hormones are elevated through exercise or through trauma. Trauma is another one. You get in a car accident with somebody, or you go through a death with somebody, or you go through a roller coaster with somebody. Whenever you're on high alert, that fight or flight, but you do it in a communal manner.
Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves at the end of Speed.
When a ship is floating through your city.
No, that's Speed 2. That wasn't even. That wasn't
like Speed 2, but on a bus.
I don't think I've actually seen. I don't think I've actually ever seen either of those movies.
That's not my joke.
Thank
I'm not
you.
taking credit.
Thank you. I don't care where it came from. It made me laugh. So
yeah, I don't think I've ever seen.
Good movie, man.
Good movie.
Is
it actually a good movie though?
Oh, Speed.
Speed's really good.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
I think I've told Jim. I don't know if I told Kyle. Might know, but I went through a phase, and even though I'm a '90s kid, I was born in '88. I went through a phase where a long phase, over a decade, where I couldn't watch a movie that was like pre-2000. Something would like I would short circuit, and I just couldn't handle how it was filmed. So there's a lot of fucking movies I've never seen. I could always watch Star Wars because I've always loved it to death. But any 80s film, 80s music, if I hear Depeche Mode, I want to bash my head through this wall.
Did you watch Terminator?
I've never seen Terminator top to bottom.
What?
Yeah, I've never seen Terminator top to bottom.
Shit. Movie night.
Yeah, I've seen Predator. And I think it was a communal situation. It was probably like the last year before I had this short circuit in my brain. But there's a ton. And I saw things as kids. Obviously, growing up in the 90s, I watched some of those films. But there's a lot of shit I've just never seen. But 2000 to 220, I've seen every movie ever.
Yeah.
You remember Terminator 1, if you've seen it too, right?
Yeah.
Remember Kyle when he comes down?
Yeah.
I'm named after him. My mom named me after him.
You're named after Terminator?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What was your middle name going to be?
It was going to be Nate Bob. We decided to go against that. Yeah.
Kyle, Nate Bob.
Just because my dad was like, thought it was funny. My dad was crazy, but it's actually Nathan. My mom was like, no, we're doing Nathan. Thank God. Thank God she knew what she was doing.
Nate Bob's cute.
And if they were really committed, it would be Reese.
Nate Bob.
Reese.
Yeah.
Reese is a good name.
I like Reese.
Yeah.
Reese is a good name. Yeah. Reese is a good name.
I agree.
In Canada, they just call it Reese. It's not Reese's. I don't know why.
I always said Reese's, and then people started making fun of me. I didn't know.
I didn't even know it was spelled with an S until a couple weeks ago. Then I was like, well, that's Recess if I do a C.
There's two of them.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's
I
going on.
hate to break it to you, Mike. Two S's in.
There's a lot going on in my brain, you know? Can't waste down the energy on spelling.
Yeah, I was going to say, not a lot of it is spelling, apparently.
Never seen Terminator. That's the end of the show.
Good God.
Name another one. I've
That's
never
the
seen
only-
Speed. A Jurassic Park
Speed's
I
good.
love. But I think, I don't know, some of them are like...
Jurassic Park is a cheese festival compared to the Terminator movies.
No, I'm
As far as
sure.
concerned.
I'm not saying it's better or worse, but I think it's like something that I'd watch, you know, that shows on TNT when I'm sick from school, and so Jurassic Park's always on, so then it's stuck with me through
Jurassic
my
Park is
short
currently,
circuit.
currently
I think-
always on.
Yeah,
You
I
might
still
have just
watch
been
it.
more of a TV kid growing up than a movie kid growing up. Did you go
Maybe.
see a lot of movies as a kid, or were you always
I think
kind of
so.
watching TV?
No, I went to the movies then.
Yeah.
It's just as I turned like 18, I couldn't look back.
Really?
I just couldn't look back for some reason. I'm more of a movie guy, probably, I'd say.
See, I'm a TV guy.
Really?
We didn't start going to movies till like later in life. I was hooked to the television when I was a kid.
We were the go to Blockbuster because my mom's a teacher, and so she had summers off with us. And she's like, so I didn't do the typical like summer camp or whatever most kids did. I guess I don't even know what most people do, but I was stuck at home with my mom because she's a teacher, and she's like, what do I do with these fucking kids? So all we did was rent like one summer, and I hated it. Maybe this is what short circuited me. I was probably in 5th grade. Sister's in 8th grade, and her and my mom get caught on Hitchcock. So we watched every Alfred Hitchcock fucking movie.
Never seen a single one.
And here I'm in 5th grade just learning what boobies are and wanting to see some blood, and now I'm forced to watch these fucking... And there are like horror films. I think some people really do like Hitchcock, but a lot of it's black and white. A lot of it's slow. Some of it's kind of cerebral. And I'm 11, freaking the fuck
Not
out.
grasping this
hating
at all.
it.
See, okay, so
We need Connor here for this talk.
yeah,
I know.
this is
Connor's a
true.
little...
Yeah.
He'll probably talk shit on Hitchcock for some reason. He'll
Find a
some
way.
reason. Yeah.
I'm both. I'm a TV guy. I'm a movie guy. I remember that probably the first movie that I ever saw in the theater was Patton. I was like 7 or something like that. I mean, that's a heavy movie to see when you're 7. About the general George Patton.
Oh.
World War II movie.
Yeah.
But I watched a lot of like trashy 70s police procedural detective kind of shit, all that Quentin Martin stuff, you know, like I don't know, Mannix and Banachek and all those kind of things. Some of the stuff that's Charlie's Angels, you know, that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I grew up in the house with my grandma, so she always had
Nessie,
classic
I did too,
television
until I was like 7, something like that. My grandmother lived with us. Yeah.
a lot of MASH,
Yeah.
a lot of soap operas.
A lot of
There's always
fucking soap operas. I've seen so many soap operas, but the
I know
soap
way
operas.
too much about General Hospital and all my children.
Yeah.
I know way too much about that.
Yeah, for sure. As the World Turns.
Right.
My grandma was into As the World Turns real hard. And old time wrestling, man. Yeah, like she was a big fan of The Rock's dad. And that was kind of confession time. That's really my total experience with wrestling. Like, I don't give it that much.
You never
of a
watched
shit.
it?
Never really. Nah. And like, I like Stone Cold as a person.
Dude, it's amazing.
Yeah, he was good in the ring because I've seen in retrospect.
Yeah.
Because we had him on the show a few times, and like I would check out his stuff. So it would have context.
You never watched that era. I think I just
The
got
Attitude
lucky.
Era?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
all
we
I
were
watched.
lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
We came in the time when wrestling was the most popular thing on the planet.
Yeah, I watched 3 years of Rock, Stone Cold, Triple H.
Religiously.
Yeah, I really did with my
I
dad,
couldn't
and we just
stand
kind
it.
of bonded.
I couldn't stand that it was fake. It drove me nuts.
I think even at a young age, I knew it was fake, but like the acting is so cornily good. I don't know how else to say. Like, I kind of liked it.
Porn level.
It was kind of porn level, which is awesome though, because you're in 7th grade. You're
Probably
seeing some
watching a lot of
boobies
that at the same time,
Yeah,
right?
it's all just relating. It was kind of wonderful.
Anyway, I was going somewhere.
What you watched?
Oh no! Back to your experience. When my I quit a corporate job. I worked for a small education consulting firm for a while. The owner drove me completely nuts, and I finally just fucking quit one day and went back to school. And when I was going back to school, like, my wife started working full time. She's a nurse, and she was working nights. Because you make more money on nights. And so I got my kids, and so they got this like full film education. Like, everything that I loved about movies, I just like beat into their heads.
Programming.
And but they were enough like me that it worked. And like, it's I always wanted to have something to talk to with my kids about that wasn't just sports.
You
know,
you related on that. I think that's probably each parent finds their way. I mean, you're kind of a parent now, so like you got this
trying, man.
Yeah,
like, another thing I'm just kind of making up as I go.
Like because I have no clue, but that's a similar thing. Is me and my dad probably, if we had to choose like a topic, it probably ended up being sports, and maybe that's why wrestling was a thing, because it was what you would talk about as a sport, whether it's a sport or not.
Sawyer's my stepdaughter, or soon-to-be stepdaughter. We find all kinds of stuff to relate on, but that's what, like, we'll watch cartoons together. We'll watch cartoon movies together. We'll find stuff. Yeah, you got to be able to relate to him. She can't have a conversation about starting a business with me. So you want to connect with these kids, you got to find something.
Or I think you talked at home playing Halo with your dad.
Because
I guess that's maybe a generational thing too, because I'm a little bit older than you, and my dad's probably 10 years older than your dad or something. And so my dad never played video games with me. Like I think I once convinced him to play a golf game because it was like slow, but like he never played video games. It's like so foreign to him, so he wouldn't do that. But nowadays that's like a super common thing. Like these streamers are playing with their kids and shit.
I started to show Sawyer like kind of how Minecraft worked. You know, and she can't read yet.
How old is she?
She's 4. She turns 5 in November.
She's still small.
She's still tiny. So I kind of taught her like, oh, you know, this is how you find stuff. And this is your inventory. And then I came home the other day. She built a whole like house.
Yeah, that's
she had
sick.
Doors and windows.
That's
I was
sick.
at 4 years
cool.
old. This is crazy.
Cool.
The games they have for kids seem so cool. Like I even told, it's like our buddy, I'm not going to name him because this is a little embarrassing, but he hit us up. He's like, I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing by myself. And I'll tell you afterwards who it was. And I've never played that game, but the truth is that game is so much more elevated than fucking Mario. Like Mario was legendary, but if you're 6, which one's going to keep your attention? Clearly a Minecraft or like an Animal Crossing. There's so much shit to do and learn. And honestly, going to the reading portion, I swear I learned half my shitty spelling, even though it should be good, from Pokemon. I'll play the shit out of Pokemon when I'm probably like 5 or 6, and so you got to read to play the game. And I would never read a book. Fuck that. But if I got to read to get my Pikachu, I'll fucking read.
I remember my my son. You guys know Sam. We went on vacation, and we were down in like Santa Cruz area, and none of the television stations had Pokemon on.
Start freaking out
at that point. Oh my god, we had to go find a Blockbuster and like rent Pokemon. We actually, I think, maybe bought something. I think there was like a ball that had like a rubber ball that had a Pikachu inside of it. Yeah, and I was like
entertained.
Yeah, I just like, we need to tamp this down somehow. It's like he's desperate for some Pokemon. Right, you
gotta hand it to Pokemon. They've been relevant for
30 years.
How does that keep happening?
Yeah. Sawyer's got Pokemon toys.
Yeah.
She loves Pokemon.
Even Mario, like its variations, but the Mario Kart or whatever this year is still sold
Branding,
like a motherfucker.
Right?
Yeah, it's really good. It really is. Because like Sonic's dead. I know they came out with a movie, but like it ain't the same as Mario.
No, not even close.
Nowhere near that level.
Yeah, not even close.
What's that process look like? Because the being a stepdad's newish. Business is newish.
Man, a lot of variables, dude.
And so people say opening a business like, oh, it's great because you set your own schedule. But the truth actually is you don't have a schedule. The truth is that you're always working because an email is going to pop up. Something's going to happen on the call. You have something on your mind.
Family. You just got to kind of fine tune, like, where am I going to sacrifice, right? I got to spend X amount of hours at the shop. I want to be a good dad, so I got to spend X amount of hours here. I have to be a good, fiance. I want to spend X amount of hours with Sam. So you just have to find those nicks of time where it's like, okay, I can give a little here, I can give a little here, and you just kind of keep putting drops into all the buckets because I don't want to neglect anything.
Sure.
I don't want to be that dad that's never home. Sorry, I got to work all the time. I don't want to be that fiance that's never around. We never go do fun stuff. So I'm just trying to fill all the buckets at one time, and that gets really hard. Yeah. And it gets overwhelming sometimes.
Yeah, how do you fill your own bucket?
Man, I sat home and played video games all day yesterday. I find things that I used to do when I was a kid, and I have fun. I go to the gym, I work out. So you get those moments by yourself where you can kind of like center yourself back down, recharge that battery, and then start handing energy back out.
Yeah, because I'm so unsocial. Like, went out last night. I'm never gonna go out for like 6 months, but like I can't imagine, because I think I also am. I would like to think I'd be a good husband or dad or whatever, where I'd put energy into those because you have to.
Yeah.
But then I don't think I could refill my little self.
Well, see, this was my problem with the corporate world, though, because like I was always under stress about whether I was going to continue to have a job, and there was always so much bullshit, so much political bullshit within every corporation that I work for, and I just get so caught up in the moment. It's like and my wife would criticize me for like, can't you just like be in the moment while we're eating dinner? It's like, no, like if I let my foot off the pedal, I'm gonna fall. Like I don't know what.
Scary. Scaling back, scary.
Yeah, it's like you do not know what it's taking for me to keep my head above water. That just mixed a lot of metaphors right there. But that's part of why I never went back after a certain point, because I just this is me. Like I know I have to be obsessed all the time. And it's either can be something that's mine or it can be something that somebody else's.
I was going to ask, being a business owner, then does it quench that thirst? Does it fix that thirst, or is it just a more synergistic relationship with that personality trait? Does that make sense?
It might be the latter. I think I constantly still struggle with it, but I also am more prone to give myself breaks over it because it's me deciding, you know?
Yeah, you have the ability to tune it up and tune it down.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to feel like I'm accomplishing a lot and I'm getting a lot of work done, I'll just book more appointments. Yeah. But if I know that I need to take the kids on a vacation, I'm going to take less appointments and put more energy into that.
Yeah, I mean, like the the dozen years I spent dealing with this business and you know, person that we were dealing with there, like that person was never my boss.
Yeah.
I was always the person deciding how it was going to work and whatever, and you know, honestly, that's part of when it fell apart, when people like, no, I'm independent. You not understand that? Like, you can't tell me what this is how we're doing this thing. It's like, no, that's people want to know. That's really how it all came about. I at some point said, no, it has to be this way because it's me. It's not you. It's me. And they're like, no, and then it was gone. So,
I don't think one like helps me either way, because I think I have a similar personality trait where it's kind of pedal to the metal, and like because I'm neurotic in my brain and my brain's always kind of doing a tornado. If I work for somebody else that's going to tornado. And I guess the end result, like you said, it won't be the same. I don't work for money, or I don't work for my benefit, or I don't work. That's the only thing. But I don't feel like more satisfied necessarily either doing it my own way. You know what I mean? Like my bank account's probably more satisfied, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's not really what drives me either. Like, because I'm still like, I think I'm smart and whatever, but I'm so ego driven for sure. I just want to impress the world. Like that's really what keeps me going, you know? So like whether I do it through somebody else or through myself, I don't really care. Like that's what feeds the machine. So, you know, it's not money. It's not.
It's the bathrooms here for me. The bathrooms are my chef's kiss.
So you make a nice bathroom and you feel good about it all.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like I was super happy with them, and you know, I'll probably dip in there every day and make sure they're clean.
Yeah. Did you have any entrepreneurial input world with your family's restaurant, or you literally just worked there? Did you get any of that?
No. It was they were uncles in a sense of like guys in my life, older guys in my life who kind of raised me, father figures to me. I wasn't like blood family or anything like that. But
did you get like input and stuff, or did you get a taste of that world, I guess, is the question?
Yeah, it was family owned and operated. I saw like you only get out what you put into it. You don't have that bare minimum work effort. And if you did, like it was your family, like, hey man, we expect more than you. So I definitely learned, I think, my work ethic from not only my mom growing up, but the guys showing me how to run the pizza place.
Yeah, because people say like don't work with friends and don't work with family, but what you just said is what I see. Like one, if you enjoy your friends and you work with the correct friends, and then two, you just hold each other up. I
also respond a lot better to like if I'm slacking off in the corporate world and I get an email like, hey Chris, you know, like your production is down 2 points this quarter. It's a lot different than my uncle pulls me out back and goes, hey asshole, get to work on time. Like I respond better to that.
And that goes to what I was trying to talk about.
You can't do that in the corporate world.
Choosing your leader or being a leader, like that's how I just did in sports too, is like basketball analogy is all I have, but if your best player is the one taking the charge or diving for the loose ball, I'm gonna get the rest of my guys to do that.
Example, right?
Yeah, so I'm running through the walls. Like I'm gonna fucking. I had a goal at my senior year of high school because I played 4-year varsity, so I was already kind of like the dude. I was like, I'm gonna bleed every game. I said if I put some blood out every game, like my team will know that I'm not just fucking around. I don't just want the accolades. Like I'm here.
You don't want to be the guy on the team that everyone's like, you didn't try that hard today.
Yeah. And so I do think working with friends or whatever, like we have that, like we'll take breaks or whatever, or I'll be sitting over there drinking water, but then like I'm like, well, I better work harder, bro. Kyle's busting his ass over there. Like I gotta go lift this wood with him, you know? Like, and I don't know why. It's just, I think it's just a saying, because no one I've ever talked to, all my friends in small business, have ever given me an explanation why not to work with your family or friends. Specifically, like broadly, of course, but that's like saying like, because then you could say that with anyone, like don't pick a business partner. We're like, yeah, you could pick a business partner. I picked tons of shitty business partners over my time building businesses. Like that's just a chance too. I feel like it's a coin flip.
Yeah,
it's human to human. Yeah, I think I would rather hang out with some people I like that I consider friends all day. Fuck, man, we did 10-hour days here grinding cement. Like I'd rather have Kyle holding my vacuum pipe than a stranger.
Hello.
That was fun.
It
Like
was
80 hours
awful.
of just grinding concrete.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Awful.
I
I'd even do most
square feet. I don't know how you guys did all this space.
Yeah, we don't either.
5,000.
We didn't know what
plus.
we were getting into.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
We really didn't.
That's true.
That is for sure. I did not have any idea it was going to take as long as it did.
If only there was opening
Lord.
a new gym checklist, right?
Yeah, not a single thing. Like you can Google and find some shit, but it's
Yeah.
like probably similar to barbershops, but a little bit different. Like yours is like health rules that you have to follow, and then there's like you said, it's the oldest fucking profession, so there's kind of just protocols.
Yeah.
Where gyms, especially this style gym, the goal was to take what's already known, whether it's a CrossFit gym or kind of a powerlifting, and way elevate this thing that's never been done to like actually look good, which is unheard of in our world, and not be corny like a 24-hour fitness where it just feels.
You don't feel campy.
You don't walk in there and feel good. No one's ever walked into 24 like, man, I feel like an athlete today. Like this place fucking's ugly. It's got terrible vibes,
Yeah, true.
And so for us, there's no blueprint. You can Google like, all right, you need this many dumbbells per this many
But you
members.
also don't want to follow someone else's blueprint.
100%. Yeah, it wouldn't end up to be us.
Yours. It's not yours then.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, your place is elevated.
Yeah, for sure.
I like to think so.
No, for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's no question at all. And you know who your client, you want your client to be. Mm-hmm. You want your client to be not particularly price sensitive. You want
I want more affluent clientele. Absolutely.
and people who have an appreciation for finer shit because
I like nice shit.
because you like nice shit. Yeah, I mean, a reflection of yourself to a certain extent.
Absolutely, yeah. It's definitely an extension. And since Mason left and it became like my shop, I was definitely able to put like my flavor on it more. It's definitely an extension of myself more now than ever.
Yeah,
which feels good.
Yeah.
You're able to express yourself. It's kind of like a clean palette, but I just kind of wanted to make a barbershop I wanted to get my hair cut at. And you guys are probably making a gym that you always wanted to lift at.
yeah, that's the thing. And part of
you
it is
hope that people like your style.
Yeah.
right. Part of it is a reaction to having been here for so long and knowing that like maintenance was not what it should have been, and like
the flaws.
the aesthetics were for sure not what they could have been. I mean, this is a lot of work, and it's been a reasonable amount of money, but like. We could have spent the same amount of money and not gotten this result. We could have spent more money and not gotten this result.
Again, to like tie or throw ties between our industries, like you can cut hair anywhere. Mm-hmm. Like you could cut my hair right here and probably do just as good of a job that you would at your place.
I can cut your hair anywhere outside.
But you know what I mean? Like you need scissors, a buzz, and a chair. You could probably do it standing if we had to. And you can lift weights anywhere. You just need a barbell and some plates. And I'd like to think, and future will tell hopefully all of us, but you're a good example already, that if you put the extra effort, if you put the extra mile to the detail of elevating the space, hopefully that person's more likely to want to come back more, have a good time, enjoy the experience, because not corny, but like life is experiences. So if you just want to go in the gym to check off a box and that's it, that's fine. If you just want to get your reps in, go home, you can do that anywhere. But if you want to build friendships, if you want to enjoy that box, if you want the community, if you want the vibration and the experience of a good haircut, which is what I started to go into barbershops, because supercuts just felt weird. Right. And truth is, talking about like affluent people, like it's not that much difference in price. I don't even know what I pay you, to be honest, but I know it's not that much different, like
it's not far
I'm
off.
not paying $150 to
I'm not
line me
charging
up.
outlandish numbers for haircuts.
Yeah, and supercuts is $20-$30, and it's inconsistent every single time. They don't give a fuck about you.
That's the thing. I think that I was thinking about just in terms of getting haircuts. I went to the same person for the most part at a Sport Clips, who was somebody who worked out here, and it was good, and she had a lot of energy and stuff, but it was never quite what it was supposed to be. And then one day I went in, and there was a guy cutting there who was just so much better and just fit what I needed so much better. I thought, okay,
it's a skill, it's a trade. Some people are going to be a lot better than other people.
Yeah, and I need to rethink this whole process, because this is like the best haircut I've ever gotten out of this place, and maybe ever anywhere. So I need to upgrade and go to a different place. And that's how I ended up going to Bottle and Barlow, and then
it's a great barbershop.
Met you there, and then followed you because you had the best vibe, and I got a good haircut. I got a haircut. I'm always happy with it. So good. And that was not always the case before. But that's kind of how it happens. You have a moment where you go, oh man,
yeah, fed up with the norms.
Yeah, it's like, oh my god, this is already so much better.
Yeah,
and it's not terribly more expensive to do that.
That's all industry, right? Like food's kind of like that. Like a place could have the best pizza, and you might go there, but if the place has a good pizza and a good environment and a good beer, You know, like and the person pouring your beer is nice.
Right.
And we were like, well, where else would I go? Like, we go to Federalist all the time just because we like the pizza. But then, like, the more you go, you're like, man, this outside vibe's kind of cool. Like, oh man, this beer's not bad. Like, pricing's fine. Like, then all these things layer up to you going there all the time.
It's a big pie, right? You got to get all the aspects of it.
Yeah. Good haircut is step one. That's just step one.
Right.
Well, we don't often give gifts on this program, but a year or so ago, we got an offer from a place called Authentic Street Signs, and they said, "Hey, we want to give you a free sign for your place." And I'm like, "Oh, that'd be really cool." So we picked out one of their stock ones, and when I saw the whole list, this particular one made me think of you.
Aww.
And then since then, we've gotten one that actually says 50% facts, and that's hanging on the set that's in the loft at my house. But this is the one that made me think of you. And I'm going to give it to you right now.
Do the work. I like that. That is, you know me well, Jim.
Yeah. No, literally, when I saw that, I thought, oh, Chris will appreciate this.
Yeah,
so
just do it, man. Quit making excuses. Just do the work. You know what needs to get done.
Yeah.
Just
that's
do
my
it.
basketball coach yelled at us. Do your
Do
job.
the work. Yeah.
Yeah, do your job.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it a lot.
No
Thanks
problem.
for it. Yeah.
And thanks for being on. Where can people find you?
TailoredSacramento.com is the website. You could book me or any of my other barbers there. We're located right off of 12th Street, right here downtown. Yeah.
And your personal IG
My
is?
personal Instagram is Chris.Slangin.Fades.
There we go.
That's
Easy.
me.
Dude, plug away, dude. Let's get
Plug
you to
away.
10K.
Yeah,
Let's get you to 10K, dude.
I'm nowhere near it. Let's do
Get
it.
that K, dude.
We just
I know.
swipe up. That's the swipe
Yeah, that's
up.
what we need.
it's so
I'm
convenient.
Kyle.Castro with 2 O's at the end because pretty
Someone else
pretty
stole it, huh?
well-known name. Yeah, I mean,
I never met
Castro.
a Kyle Castro.
They're
Out there?
yeah. When you search for them, they pop up. A lot of them.
Kyle
But yeah.
Reese Castro.
There's one Mike Farr. There's only one Mike Farr on the planet, dude.
I don't think that's true.
There's one other one, I guess. I've only found one Mike Farr when I Google around.
There's
Okay.
actually a
football
website,
player.
How Many of Me?
Oh, really? I'm gonna
How
go
many of
look.
me?
Really?
.com?
I'd
Yeah.
like to see that, actually.
Yeah.
Let's check that
But there's
out.
a shit ton of me.
Yeah.
I have one of the most common names in the
Yeah.
song.
True,
Connor.
true.
Connor's name's hella normal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for listening. New podcast every single Wednesday. Be sure to check out 3sb.co for updates on apparel dropping probably within the next 2 weeks here. And all gym info, 3rd Street Barbell on Instagram. I'm Silent Mike, wherever you want to find me.
I am at the Jim McD on all the social medias. This show is on Instagram at 50% Facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers. The website's the same. And we'll talk to you next week.